Which countries have Russians been fleeing to since the 21st of September, when President Vladimir Putin announced a partial mobilization? Russians that are either opposed to the war in Ukraine or scared of being drafted to fight in it have been piling across the border. One destination has been Kazakhstan, which shares the world's second longest land border with Russia, and where Russians can enter without a passport or visa. People fleeing have arrived in their hundreds of thousands in the last few weeks. However, many are faced with issues when they get there. The cost of housing has soared due to the massive Russian influx, and some have been accused by their families back home of betraying their country. Some Kazakhs view the incoming Russians as a potential economic burden and even a security risk, including Kazakh politician Mukhtar Tayzan.
Я откровенно скажу с настороженностью.
To be honest, I'm concerned because I don't know who's coming in or how they think, because they only started coming over after the so-called partial mobilization was declared. So they're draft dodgers, to put it bluntly, the ones who took fright at the prospect of being sent to war. We do not know their views, whether or not they support Putin. At the very least, the process should be regulated, and as a last resort, there should be controls introduced that would shut the border completely.
Kazakh officials estimate that more than 200,000 Russians have entered the country since Putin's announcement, and around 80,000 have registered in Kazakhstan's national ID system, a prerequisite for getting a job or a bank account. Aidar Burabayev started thinking about leaving immediately after Putin's announcement, but what finally convinced him was seeing Moscow, for centuries a crucible of raw, bustling energy, so subdued and deserted.
The final straw was driving through Moscow and suddenly realizing there were no traffic jams and seeing my co-working office almost empty.
Russians have also been fleeing to Georgia, where they can also enter without a visa. Turkey, a popular tourist destination for Russians, and many have been heading to Europe. The EU saw a surge in arrivals after Putin's announcement. Some 66,000 Russian citizens entered the bloc, according to data from the bloc's border agency Frontex. On Thursday, 2 Russians fleeing military service claimed asylum in the US after arriving by boat in Alaska, authorities have said. Russian media has put the number of Russians that have fled the country at 700,000. The Kremlin denied this on Thursday. Putin's spokesman Dmitry Peskov could give no precise number, but said the number was far from what was being claimed.